Welcome to the Mad Monday podcast on this a beautiful day in Aotearoa. Grey skies cover our nation after, unfortunately, a Warriors loss. That's right. It's been a while in coming, and I need to rake over these coals with El Capitan of the Warriors fan club, the dictator of Warriors dicks. It's Dai Henwood.
Muchos tacos, signore. Oh, wow. Well, I made the soppy trek out to industrial Penrose with my two children last night. We're all amped up to go to this Warriors game. According to the vendor, at the caravan we went to, my daughter was the only person to get shaved ice last night.
It's a brave move, Lucy. Very brave.
A snow cone was an interesting choice in that weather, I tell you that. But we left that game quite emotional. The crowd was emotional. They were really riding every call from the referee. And then once I've had a bit of time for the emotion to die down, I've realised we can hold our heads pretty high. I think that 16-10 scoreline was an actual reflection of the game. Canberra just were insane on defence, and we defended well, but we just couldn't get through. And I think it wasn't a pounding like we got in round one, but it was a soppy, hard-fought game.
Yeah, so if you didn't catch the game, it was 16-10 to the Canberra Raiders, the second win that the Canberra Raiders have had over the Warriors this year after the Vegas debacle. I know we've talked a little bit about this on the podcast in the last few weeks, but the Warriors have become a very different team. It's a successful team, other than, 3 games, but they have become a team that grinds out dour wins. And the only other team that's better at doing that is the Canberra Raiders. We don't have the natural advantage we have over most Australian teams in the wet, because Canberra is wet and cold, just like it is in New Zealand. So they're used to playing in those conditions, and they were just better at playing that style of game a little bit better than us.
And they are a big pack, and we've got to go for it. Joseph Tapine, wow, he got fully under the Warriors' skin. He played not to the letter of the law. He played way past the letter of the law. And he's that player that you just hate, but you sort of love when he's on your team. Like I was listening on my sports ears to the refs, and tune it into that. And I'm surprised he didn't get sent off for dissent. He was just chirping and chipping away at the refs on everything. He was done for a shoulder charge. He could have been done for another shoulder charge on Leka Halasima when he dropped the ball. And he got on report twice. So he's going to be...
After 42 seconds, he was involved in a crusher tackle on Chance Klukstad, and then told him he was being a crybaby.
Oh, yeah, he did the old...
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I sort of quite like that shithousery. Like, it really created such a vibe at the game because it made Canberra villains. And to be honest, I thought that Canberra were going to start to run away with that game, but the Warriors just stuck in there. On defence, we were pretty good, but I was trying to figure out why Canberra makes so much more metres off the kickoff. And I was looking at it. Luke Metcalf has a very short kickoff. His kickoff tends to land on the 20-metre line, whereas they kick it into the goal. into our in goal. So they sort of, because every time they'd have one set and they'd be kicking from our 40, and Jamal Fogarty was beautiful in kicking. We dropped 2 bombs, I think, which we've dropped a bit of ball over this season. We've struggled to make meters out of our own end, and they were just gang tackling. I felt they were slowing down the ruck a lot more than we were. I don't know how it looked on TV, but they maximised their sin bin time, and we didn't.
Yeah, can I go back to the Joey Tapine point? Yes, he was a massive wounder in that game, but I think for me he was overshadowed by the ratty pedo pest that is Tom Starling, the hooker for the... I mean, I say that he's not actually a paedophile, but he does have a pedo mo, okay? And he is a ratty pest, and he annoyed me so much more than Joey did in that game.
Oh, yeah, he definitely looks like a World War II soldier who just comes home with a locked chest full of war crimes, eh? But he also was part of my favourite part of this game, where he tried to leapfrog over the ruck and got absolutely poleaxed by Jackson Ford and Kirk Capewell, dropped the ball, which was missed by the referee, then got up and tried to play it and stuffed it up. Ricky Stewart, I watched the press conference. He was not impressed with all of his leaders, his older players, Starling, Horsburgh and Tapine, were basically the 3 who tried to lose that game for the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, I guess discipline-wise, they weren't great. So my favourite moment of the game was Jackson Ford. Let's talk about him because he had probably his best game in Warriors colours.
Yes, man of the match for me. I actually like that, holding him back, then bringing him on for like the last 60 minutes.
Yeah, same. Bunty started, didn't he? And he went off relatively early.
Yeah, Bunty sort of does 2 20-minute stints.
Yeah. So Jackson Ford, I mean, there was a moment in the game where it was a try-saving tackle, and then I don't know who it was on. Whoever gets it up and plays the ball, and there's no one there.
Oh yeah, and
then he just picks the ball up. That wasn't. Are you talking about the same moment? Is that the Tom Starling? It is, right.
So no, that's where he got up and played the ball to no one. But they were on 5th tackle, and they had us on the ropes.
Yeah.
He ran for just under 200 metres. He had 40-odd tackles, 52 post-contact metres. He was just a beast in this game. 0 drop ball. I mentioned how I like him being played. I think we've gone from playing Leka Halasima not enough to too much. He is such an impact player. He's played 2 games of 80 minutes. He played 65, I think it was, in this game. I think he's a big minute player, don't get me wrong, like 40 to 50. But Dimitri Vaimonga only played 15 minutes. So, and he's really impactful as well. And, I mean, I felt for Leka because on the 3rd or 4th tackle, he dropped the ball on their try line with 3 minutes to go when they were 12 players down. That was a huge moment. He had another drop before, and I'm by no means pinning this on him because he had some barnstorming runs. He brings the aggression. Aaron Clark brought the aggression in this game as well. But defense wins games, attack decides by how much you win them. So we're winning. We've been winning these games up to now through this gritty defense. But this game showed we don't have the attack. I mean, I was predicting what we were going to do from up in the stand. So the Raiders just held us out so easy. We just run this shape. Luke Metcalf was taken out of the game beautifully by the Raiders. They were really hunting him. They were getting him on the wrong side of the ruck. DWZ's really struggling to catch any high balls on attack.
He's getting involved more. At least he got involved more bringing the ball back this week, but he's still running a little bit upright. It's almost like it does take you a few weeks to settle back into first grade, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the hard thing is, I was thinking about this because I was looking at the New South Wales Cup team who played the Bulldogs yesterday. Tane was at fullback. So there's obviously no injury issues there. And DWZ's not the kind of player that you say, hey, have a couple of weeks in New South Wales Cup. Just in terms of profile, ego, he's probably about 800K on our cap. He's got to play first grade. I think he's just settling in, but he's not. We just haven't seen that magic that he was known for, 2022. Every second try was a dot down.
Yeah, so I've got a bit of a question about that. Is that just a difference in play from our half in that, Luke Metcalf's been amazing. I mean, I think until this week he was leading the Dally M table on points, but he doesn't necessarily have that huge cutout ball that SJ did, and I think maybe he's just not getting the ball as, in space like he used to. I mean, that said, he's only played 2 games.
Oh, completely. That 22 shape was SJ running across, 2 forwards running different lines, then SJ doing that big bullet cutout pass.
Yeah.
In this game particularly, I mean, it was so wet and greasy. But this is why I love being at the game, the way Canberra marshalled their defence, for some reason, whenever we had a short side, they would run more defensive players to it and would still go short. So they had us amply covered, yet I think what I'm trying to say is our attack was very premeditated. We weren't reacting exactly to what's in front of us. And I felt in that last 10, 15 minutes, we needed to chuck it round a bit more. We needed to offload a bit more to destabilize their defense, because they were just pushing up as a whole. When we were defending, we were standing back and waiting for them to run to us. So we didn't quite have the line speed. And I mean, we got cut open in I think it was Moretti ran a beautiful short ball and offloaded it to Jamal Fogarty. This was just after Chance Nickel-Klukstad had gone off, and Tamati Martin was playing fullback. And it's so interesting seeing he was out of position by maybe 5-10 meters, right? He just wasn't following across with the play, and he just got gassed by Jamal Fogarty. And yeah, I feel we still lack a bit of speed and X factor, and that's what Tane Tuapiki is, but I don't know how to include him.
No, it's interesting, isn't it? Look, I know there was a phrase bandied around that you particularly dislike, which is a lot of positives still came out of this loss, which is a phrase, as a Warriors fan over the years, we've heard a lot. But, when you're second or third on the table, that phrase actually means something. And I do think there are some positives that came out of this loss, one of which is we stayed in the fight the entire time. And to be fair, we've won games this closely, and we're eventually going to lose games this closely.
Oh, that stay in the fight was so important. It was after that Jamal Fogarty try where I went, in previous years, the Warriors would go, right, we're a man down, this game's gone. And maybe not have fought as hard. We fought right to the whistle. And this isn't a lot of positives to take out of the game. Steve Kearney, when we've just been beaten by Newcastle 48-10 in the 20th loss in a row. You're right, this was 2 playing 3 on the table. If we'd squeaked a win, we would have gone to 1. Here's my negative Nelly hat. We are not beating top 4, top 6, top 8 sides. We've lost. We got hammered by Melbourne, hammered by Canberra, just beaten by Canberra. The upcoming weeks are going to be important. We need to beat, I think it's we've got to, not next week, this coming week, but the week after, we've got the Sharks.
Yeah.
We have to beat the Rabbitohs this week, then the Sharks. We need to start beating these top 8 teams, and we need to stay in the top 4. We've done so much good work to get. We'll be basically halfway through the season after the Rabbitohs game. We've done so well to be here. We've defied all expectations. So have Canberra, and I really hope we're seeing games like we did on the weekend, except with us winning in the finals.
Yeah, that's right. So Sharks coming up after the Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs are 6th in the table. Sharks are 5th. Having said all that, though, Dai, we have beaten 7th and 8th place at the moment, who are the Cowboys and the Broncos. So signs are still good, but I think you're right. I think particularly this next week, that's a crucial game. I think we can drop one of these two. They are both away. We can drop one of these two. We certainly can't drop two.
I haven't analysed the draw, but it feels like we play a home game. Then we always are away for 2. I mean, we're away for 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah. We're the Harlem Globetrotters of the NRL. I don't think the Harlem Globetrotters play in Harlem very often.
Oh, they very rarely have a home game. Hence
the name, the Globetrotters.
It's you should be proud to be a Wars fan, because what we haven't mentioned is we were missing the 2 captains.
Yeah, 2 captains.
Mitch Barnett.
And two of the best front rows in the game.
Oh, and James Fisher Harris, his mana would have spilled all over Tapine and that. I actually think someone would have got a punch in the head one way or another. That would have been a great tussle to see.
Actually, there was a moment where Roger came and had a bit of mana and tried to just pull Joseph Tapine away from the ref at one point and just go, come on, mate. It was actually quite nice to see. You're like, these are Kiwis teammates. And when he's having a go at Chance and calling him a Suki Baba, well, how's that going to look at the end of the year when those internationals happen? But I think that's going to be an awkward shower.
It was so funny listening. As I remember, I used an example of Cam Smith, who was he had a PhD in talking to the referee. He would go up and be like, excuse me, sir, just regarding a play that happened 2 tackles back. And Tapine was literally going, hey, mate, to the ref, and mate. And the ref would turn around and he goes, How stink are they being? It was just like a guy with red mist. He was just, and the ref kept going, you have to walk away.
Yeah.
You have to walk away.
Oh, by the way, as it's a side note, I got totally clickbaited a couple of weeks ago about a Joey Tapine story because the headline said how I overcame my addiction. And I was like, oh, geez, what's this darkness? And I click on it, and it was to the pokies. He was addicted to the pokies. Now, I'm not saying that's nothing, but I was expecting something a little bit more, narcotic than the pokies.
However, how grim. There's a bit of savoir-faire about he's out on the coke partying with socialites, but just it's so grim. Just he's in the Crown Casino, just tapping away on the pokies.
We're not really making fun of him. I'm glad he's over his addiction. But look, yes, interesting couple of weeks ahead, and a lot of lessons is the word you want to use, not learnings. Lessons to come out of the game. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the stonker of the round. Okay, we've got your chance to win flights for 2, accommodation, tickets to a Warriors game, plus $500 New Zealand currency spending money with the Mad Monday Try and Ply fly off. Text PIE, that's PIE, to 32360 to enter. Don't text PIE as in 3.14159. That's not going to get you anything. Text the word pie, P-I-E, to 3236. All thanks to 4 and 20 Pies, the ultimate fan food and proud supporters of Mad Monday. Now, the stonk of the round, it was, of course, a split round, so not as many games. In fact, only 5. And it was pretty hard to pick a stonk of the round this week because it was probably
Hey, can I just
Warriors.
jump in there, Ben? This is my love and hate part of the year with the only 5 games. I love Origin, the psych up on a Wednesday for like 11:45 p.m. kickoff. By the time they get everything done, you're so amped up for it. It's such an amazing spectacle. But then when you have the thing where it's like, oh, it's a bit of a letdown. So I love the afternoon games on the Saturday, just sort of playing along while I'm doing my bits and bobs. But yeah, it's a love-hate with this time of year, because also then you see things like the Knights beating Penrith when Penrith literally had their reserve grade side player.
Yeah, that's pretty right. I mean, they do have a lot of players in Origin for a team that's second to last on the table.
No, fully last.
They are last, aren't they? So, that's maybe it's the coach. Maybe that's the problem with the Panthers. Is it the coach?
I wonder. Yeah, Ivan Cleary's on the chopping block. I wonder if this is the first time the last place side has like 8 players in Origin. Or 7 players in Origin.
That'd be a great stat. In fact, I've got a great stat for you in a second. But our stonk of the round is we've chosen as the Roosters beating the Sharks 42-16. That was probably the best spectacle of a game. The Roosters are back. They probably were massively helped by the fact that James Tedesco was not selected for Origin. Yeah,
completely. And he sort of showed that maybe he should have been selected for Origin. Like he is such a competitor. That style he's got, which very few players have, how he sort of pinballs around the field, like he bounces off people and is suddenly 30 metres ahead. Also, I've said it before, Mark Nwanganitawasi, I love these players that you just get excited every time they get the ball because they're going to do something. I see that at Trent Robinson said something to him at halftime along the lines of, you don't have to do all of the magic all at once, because he that's where he falls down. He'll break a tackle, spin out of 2 other tackles, then try some ridiculous flick pass, and he's like, just spin out of the tackles and go to ground. So, because he often turns it over. But he's just got this amazing out the back flick pass. He is better under the high ball. This game was tight, to be honest, for quite a while. And then the Roosters just blew away with it. And then in the last 3 minutes, I think they got 2 extra tries.
Yeah, so pretty much every game went against the odds, except for maybe you could argue Warriors-Raiders, although I think Warriors were still down as favourites, weren't they?
Warriors were pretty heavy favourites.
Oh, were they? Okay, right.
So it was every game was a upset.
Yeah, so I saw a stat that said that this year, 44% of the time the underdog will win. Or has won in the NRL, which is the highest it's ever been.
Wow.
Yeah, so almost half the time the underdog wins, which means there's probably no underdog.
Yeah, there is. And then, because then if you put in things like weather, home ground advantage, a lot of the times games would just be 50-50. I mean, I actually struggled to see why we were favourites in that game, with Canberra less affected by Origin, us missing 2 players. But also I was looking at for all those tipsters out there who are having an absolute shocker. In this round, so many people tipped 5 from 5 wrong, right?
Yeah.
It is statistically harder to tip every game wrong than every game right, apparently.
Okay, I don't know how that works, but I'll believe you. I mean, it's this time of year. It does have some effect, I guess, but, the Dolphins beating the Bulldogs 44-8. Probably both sides have got some Origin players out. In fact, they absolutely do.
Hammer, Isako, is he? No, there was the Hammer.
Is Felice Kafusi playing for? No, not this year.
But there was I thought the Dogs were lacking a few more players, but it wasn't a 40-point scoreline.
No, and suddenly the Eels are back, and they didn't even have their talisman, Mitch Moses, playing because he's in the Origin squad. So
no, they didn't have Momax either. They didn't have Momax of Mitch Moses or Zach Lomax. So they were suffering. Back to that Roosters game though. Trent Robinson said this is his favourite year coaching because he's got such a fresh side. He lost so many forwards, and he said he's actually coaching. Like he's got to bring young guys through, figure out how they fit into the team. There was that guy who was laying concrete on the morning of the game. He played again. Who just looks like a good rugged bogan who's just got a job, and then every now and again gets the call up.
And Robertson must have been gutted. He must have thought he's got a gun young centre that he can have through the Origin period, but then Robert Toya gets selected for Origin after playing I think about 47 NRL first grade minutes.
He's a star.
He is a star.
And he's been through a lot of injury adversity, and Angus Crichton, who plays for New South Wales, he was given Robert Toya big raps. Like he had the best quote. He goes, I'm just so proud of him, and I'm so stoked for him and his family. Having said that, on Wednesday I'm gonna try and fucking kill him.
Rugby league, you never disappoint. So that is the wrap up of what was a rather chaotic split round. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be back with the TAB hunch and some off the back fence action. All right, welcome back to Mad Monday. And the TAB hunch this week is for Origin State of O. Game 1, Wednesday night, a 3-legged multi of any-time try scorers. Now, we've got Zach Lomax, Xavier Coates, and Latrell Mitchell to all score, and that is to pay $12.03. We've put a $100 bonus bet on it. Will return $1,103. Of course, if we win, I'll have mixed reactions because that's 2 New South Wales players and 1 Queenslander.
Oh, I'm just nervous about Origin. I'm a New South Wales supporter. Queensland are in the ideal spot here where they're underdogs. They're just playing it safe. There's a bit of deception. There's a bit of, is he going to be injured? Is Ponga going to play? And it's scary because, personally, I'd say from a vaguely unbiased point of view, on paper, you'd have to say New South Wales has the stronger side, but what was it only a few years ago where they said this is the worst Queensland side ever, and they took it out 3-0 or whatever? Queensland know how to show up for Origin.
That's right, and I think we spoke about this, you and I, last week, but I think a massive leveller is Payne Haas is now out for the Blues.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that. Has he been confirmed out?
Oh, I thought he had. Hang on, I'm going to Google this in real time.
No, because they've been saying they'd wait until today or tomorrow. I think he just hasn't trained with them.
Oh no, they're still holding back. You're right. So I think that if he doesn't play, that might be the true leveller even on paper.
Yeah, Payne Haas is the X factor forward for the Broncos. He's one of those guys who demands so much defensive attention, and he can get an offload. I cannot wait till Spencer Leniu comes on to the ground because he is so hated in Brisbane, and he is such a psycho that that's gonna bring that real Origin fire.
Laurie Daly, I'm just reading, is saying he's confident he will play. So you never know. Stefano Utuikamanu is the backup, who I think is a fantastic player. Weirdly, he moved to the Tigers and started playing worse than he did. Moved from the Tigers to the Storm and started playing worse and gets an Origin call up.
That has to be the first time that's happened in a while. And Max King is he's the smoky sort of Robert Toyer of the New South Wales camp. I think it's going to be
40 though.
Oh yeah, completely. He's old, but I mean, he was the outsider no one expected. This is an important game for Queensland because it's at Suncorp, so they want the win here. Then they second game's in Perth, and the third game's in New South Wales. So whoever, I mean, if New South Wales can win this first game, it's going to be a tough road. I'm picking a New South Wales win, but no one does Origin like Suncorp. It is just so crazy, so hectic, and either way, I think it's going to be a really close game.
Do we want to do a little Supercoach update? I noticed that this week in Supercoach, you basically gave up.
Yes, I pretty much forfeited this round because to shuffle my team to have enough players, I would have ruined my team as wasn't enough players available. I was a bit too heavily stocked on bye round teams. So I made a strategic maneuver to hold some trades because then I am going to need to do quite a bit of tinkering. So in the next bye round, when you get some extra trades, I'm going to be going buck wild. How did you end up?
Well, I needed the win because I'd had 3 losses in a row after a strong start. So I needed to have a scrappy win against Keezy and did manage to pull it off just with finding 13 fit players to have in my side. I also needed a bit of a clean out because I had lost 3 in a row. So it was probably a good time for me to grab some points. I'm basically like the West Tigers of Supercoach, that I'll probably squeak a few wins while there's a lot of good players out.
And then hopefully make a run home for 8th or 9th.
Yeah, that's the one. That's me. That's me all day. Up for grabs are a couple of official 2025 New Zealand Warriors jerseys. Thanks to our mates at Dynasty Sport. Use the code 111045. That's 111045 to get involved in our Super Coach League. It is time to wrap things up. Hang on. Let's not do anything more. Di wants to say something.
Sorry, before you hit my lovely off-the-back fence intro, on the Dynasty Sport jerseys, at the game yesterday, you know the Dear Warrior, the new one that sold out in 2 minutes or whatever?
Louis Brown, yeah.
Yeah, they had Louis Brown on the field, and he was T-shirt cannoning those jerseys into the crowd. You want to see some steam munters fight over a potentially child-sized jersey?
Wow, it'll be worse than when they did the Catch a Million at the cricket and people were just throwing themselves onto toddlers and stuff.
Oh, completely, because usually it's, hey, we've got Villy the V-Can shooting out some free V singlets, and everyone's like, oh, whatever. But you're firing $180 limited edition jerseys, and it was just chaos in the crowd.
Well, that sounds incredibly dangerous. And, of course, it is how Maud Flanders dies in The Simpsons.
I've actually got a T-shirt cannon story. I was working for, like, when they released Xbox, and they did a big Xbox event in Spark Arena. They'd sort of screened it off. And I was on a stage, and I was about 5 meters away from the front row, and they handed me a T-shirt cannon to send out Xbox things. And I looked at the guy and goes, how does this work? As I pulled the trigger, and I shot this woman in the face who was wearing glasses in the front row, and it was fully loaded to send to the back. The second shot hit the lights at the back of Spark Arena, then dropped down. So I had this woman at about 200 Ks with an Xbox T-shirt curled up.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we're lucky to have you here and that you're not serving time for manslaughter. Right, are you in position? Have you got your foot on the
foot on the end goal line.
You got it? You ready? Okay, Here it is, folks. It's time for Dai Henwood off the back fence.
Oh, a long kickoff. The offload to Henwood, and he's off the back fence. Boom time.
Yeah, I've been sniffing around your DMs. Yeah, I've been checking out your comments on the Warriors Instagram page. Just be a normal fan, okay? Just be normal. Just be the dude who gets in the shower or the woman who gets in the shower who squeak it, put some soap on their hands and soaps up them body, okay? Don't be using a loofah. Don't be the weirdo. Don't be the person who pushes it too far. You know, there's so many of you on there. Okay, the Warriors lose. Right, we've got to get rid of DWZ. We need Tane Tuapiki at fullback. Chance is the wrong person there. Right, we need a big shake-up in the forwards. No, we don't. Just chill out, man. Just be a fan. Enjoy your team. Take some positives out of it. We stepped up to Canberra. Okay, we took the loss, but that doesn't mean wholesale changes. You don't need to pay out. You know, just because you come home, right? Say you'd organised for someone was going to cook dinner, and you show up, and dinner hasn't been cooked. What do you burn the house down, sell the kids, and divorce the midi? No, you don't. You just go, oh, should we order something in? Or should we quickly defrost something? Or if you've just got an air fryer, even cook the steak from frozen. I know, I'm too scared to do it, but apparently it works. All I'm saying is just be a normal fan, settle back, follow Savage. You might know him from such songs as Swing, right? Follow him. He's like, up the Usos, here, bring on next week. Well played, okay? Support your team. Don't go nuts on them just because we lost.
Well said. Beautiful words, and I couldn't agree more, Dai Henwood. I mean, you've never listened to your own advice when talking about New Zealand's cricket team, but look.
I should preface that. So I'm the guy who, Brendan McCullum gets out for 10. Oh, he's never done anything good. What's he done for me lately? You know, what's he done for? You know, Jacob Oram showed up for one game. Oh, he shouldn't be playing. You know, So I need to listen to my own advice. I'm taking my own advice a bit more when it comes to cricket, and I'm not riding or dying on it. And up the Melbourne victory. I mean, yeah.
Jesus. So Warriors versus Rabbitohs, 4:00 Sunday. State of Origin, Wednesday night, and State of Origin, the pinnacle of rugby league, is here. Game 1 on Wednesday. Who's your money on? Back your team and test your footy instincts with TAB's same game multi. Plays 3 or more legs, and if it loses by 1, 2, or 3, or any number of legs, TAB will cover your bet up to $25 bonus cash back. So that's right. Even if your legs fall off, you get a second chance at glory. Download the TAB app and get your bet on. Max bonus $25, one per customer. T&Cs applies. R18, bet responsibly.
Hey, and as I was lamenting the lack of footy, it's back-to-back State of Origin. Women's State of Origin's Thursday night. Then we run straight into the NRL games. So there's plenty of footy from Wednesday on.
So hang on. When do the women's Warriors start playing?
July 6th.
It was
pretty cool out at the ground. They did the full introduction of the Wahine Toas.
Awesome.
They brought them out, did the full introduction of them. They brought out the Harold Matts team, who have won the competition 2 years in a row. So it was awesome to see them out there. I know my daughter who went to the Black Ferns on Saturday. She's getting very amped up for the Warriors women's team, and full respect to the owner, man, for getting all these teams in there. It's not a cheap experience, but broadening the game and especially having a women's team is epic.
Yeah, it's going to be a game changer. We will be covering it here on Mad Monday as well. So until next week, Dai Henwood and loyal Mad Monday listeners, Go the Wars, up the Wars, and go the Maroons. And that's the end of the podcast. Dai Henwood. Nothing more to say.
No. I like New South Wales.